Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube, Diggy546? I just wanted to get my post game out, and today pretty much what happened is exactly what I've been looking for to happen. Pretty much this whole second half of this season, since we've kind of figured out we need to go quarterback, and it always stinks to lose to the Eagles. Don't get me wrong, it always stinks to lose to the Eagles. But if we were gonna lose to them, and it was gonna be on Christmas. And by the way, guys, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to anybody that doesn't celebrate Christmas, but to anyone that does, Merry Christmas. And like I said, this just could not have gone any better as far as what you draw it up as. As a Giants fan, you want to see your team be able to get the quarterback that they want, but you also want to see the team be competitive. You also want to see entertaining football so you don't feel completely out of it and just like, this quarterback is going to have to drag this team out of the gutter. And also it just helps with the team culture that, you were going out there and you were competitive against teams like the Eagles, and next week teams like the Rams, and then the week after teams like the Eagles again. And this kind of scares me, man. Like, I hope we don't beat the Rams at this point in the season. Again, I never can when the game starts, I'm trying to win the game. But when I go back to my regular state of mind, that's the most logical. I always want us when I go back to my state of mind during the week, I'm like, we have to make sure we lose these games. Anyway, today more of the same. I recorded a video on Saquon Barkley, and I think I may re-record that. But this team kind of went on offense as Saquon went when he was having success running the football today. The offense was moving the ball. When he wasn't, the offense wasn't moving the ball. Tyrod Taylor ended up coming in for Tommy DeVito. DeVito didn't look horrible, but he just had more of the same issues. It seems like when he goes against those better defenses in the league, he kind of just sits there and holds. And maybe that's because our receivers aren't getting open, but he just sat there and held the ball when he had good pass protection entirely too much for my taste. And Dable just kind of watched that. And eventually he just kind of made a decision to take Tommy DeVito out of the game because I'm guessing he felt that he was leaving plays out there. So in comes Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod, I think, runs really quickly, and then we run it twice with Saquon Barkley, and we're in the end zone. So that second half, really things started to get going. Like I said, Saquon scored there, and then had a couple of down drives, but then we get the pick six from Adoree Jackson. Shout out to him. Come on, man, you can't get run down by Jalen Hurts right there. I thought you was a track star. I thought Adoree was a track star, and he's getting run down by Jalen Hurts. Not to say Jalen Hurts doesn't have speed, but come on, man, you got to leave that dude in the dust. He did score though, so I'll give him that. But Adoree gets that score, and then at that point we're knocking on the door, and then eventually Tyrod throws a beautiful bomb on the left sideline of Darius Slayton, and I'm just like, thank you so much, because this is literally the first time I've seen a guy get hit in stride on a deep ball since legitimately 2019, where Eli Manning hit Darius Slayton. And people might say, no, we've had long plays. Go back and look at every single deep ball that Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, all these guys have thrown. It's always the guy having to slow down to catch the ball. And this time, Darius Slayton got to catch it right in stride and just run into the end zone. So that was great to see. Darren Waller today, I think he had a bad play himself where he had to drop. But other than that, I mean, he was just getting missed all over the place. He had one drop where the ball was like, it was like this far behind him, and he had to kind of reach back to try to get it. He couldn't grab it. But if the ball had been on target, if he caught it right here where it should have been, he probably catches that and scores a touchdown. Also, after that, Tyrod Taylor is rolling left, trying to get the ball upfield to him. If Darren Waller is able to get that ball, which Tyrod ended up underthrowing, if he's able to get that, he scores a touchdown. So Darren Waller also made a couple of really nice catches on that last drive, which is kind of funny. But I don't think Darren Waller is completely cooked like some people think. I think it's really an issue of we don't have a quarterback that can get the ball to a star tight end, which is ridiculous. Like, a tight end is supposed to be the quarterback's number one friend. It's supposed to be a quarterback's best friend for a backup, for a rookie quarterback. and they can't get the ball to Darren Waller. I just don't get it. They just cannot, for the life of them, get the ball to Darren Waller. So that's something that I just really hope to see Darren Waller back here next year if we have a rookie quarterback, and I hope that they can get him the football. So those are some of the things I noticed on offense from a high level. We put up 292 total yards, so nothing special at all. 186 passing yards, 106 rushing yards is decent. 14 first downs. That's literally half the amount of first downs as the Eagles put up. They put up 28 first downs on us today. One turnover. I don't know when that happened. I guess that must have been an interception on the last play. Okay, that was the turnover. And then one gave up one sack. So shout out to the offensive line. I will give props to the offensive line today. They held up really well. There was not a sense of we were under duress all game. That just wasn't happening today. And the funny thing is, like, we talked about, like, oh, we want to close the gap this year. We want to close the gap between us and the Eagles and us and the Cowboys. Today in the trenches, it looked like we closed the gap. It looked like if we had a good quarterback, we would have won this game, which is it's crazy to me. So it looked like we kind of closed the gap today. This is the most competitive we've been in with the Eagles in a while now. Not to say we've actually closed the gap, but you get what I'm saying. It kind of looked like that. Time of possession, they beat us by 10 minutes. Moving over to the defense, as I talked about, Bobby Okereke is a monster. There's no way that this dude should not be in the Pro Bowl. There's no way that he shouldn't be second team or first team All Pro. I understand if guys with names have names. I even understand that those guys with names are on superstar defenses and their teams are going to the playoffs. But Bobby Okereke, another 10 tackle game, 8 solo tackles today, 7 solo tackles for Xavier McKinney. He kind of balled out today. He got beat a couple of times on some of those tight end routes, but he also did his fair share of pass breaking up. Bobby Okereke almost had an interception, and it would have been a tough catch for him. But this dude has a ton of pass deflections, a good amount of interceptions, and a ton of tackles. And that's like, what else? And a good amount of forced fumbles. So what else do you expect from a middle linebacker? I think he's really in charge of his defense, and he's definitely paying off what they went out and signed him for. So Bobby Okereke, another really good game from him. Mike McFadden had a couple of splash plays, but above all, I mean, we really lost this game on defense. As far as the defense goes, we really lost this game on missed tackles. We could not get guys on the ground. Bobby Okereke missed a couple of tackles, but they ended up cleaning up his tackles. Micah McFadden missed a couple of tackles. McKinney, Adoree Jackson missed a couple of tackles. Deonte Banks missed a tackle. So we had a ton of missed tackles, way too many. And if we make these tackles, we probably win the game, which again probably wasn't in our best interest in the first place. Also, Isaiah Simmons almost had a pick six. He kind of almost had it. I'm not gonna be mad at him because he reached out his arm. It would have been like a crazy, like one-handed and then corral it kind of interception, but he almost had a pick six too. I wasn't really impressed with the Eagles, how they played today. They kind of put their foot on the gas at the end of the game, running the football. But other than that, I'm not really impressed by how they showed up today. I mean, they still got some things they got to work out. Looking at some more things, I think that kind of covers everything as far as like your offense and defense. Special teams started off bad with Jamie Gillen just kicking 2 really bad punts that gave them great field position. And I think ended up giving them a total of about 10 points from just bad punts that just gave us bad field position that resulted in them scoring on both of those drives. Or maybe one of them was I'm pretty sure they scored a touchdown that first time and then a field goal the second time. So yeah, that part was bad, but after that they kind of got it together. One last thing, a couple of penalties that were just bad. The false start on John Michael Smith was an atrocious call. It had no business being made. He did not false start. It was just normal things where you see the center look up and look back down. It was not like a quick look up. It was a slow look up, slow look down. They called a false start on him. So they gave them, should have been offsides, but they gave them. It went from being a manageable fourth down And the Giants have been pretty good on fourth downs since Dable has been here. But it went from being a manageable fourth down to us having a punt. And then another bad call today was Wan'Dale Robinson got interfered with on that last drive 100%. So even though we ended up getting in striking distance, Wan'Dale Robinson definitely got interfered with about 35 yards downfield, 35, 40 yards downfield. There was no flag, and that should have been called. But above all else, folks, like I said, we're in the perfect position. Maybe I can pull up. Let's see if I can pull this up. I'll pull it up in real time. It may not be up yet, so be prepared for that. And this is raw. This isn't going to be edited. So let's see if I can pull up Tankathon. And let's see where the NFL has us ranked. We're back at number 5. So we're back at number 5 as far as draft order goes. And we're rooting on the Patriots. We're rooting on Washington. And we're rooting on Cardinals right now to get us into that top 3. But as of now, we're number 5, and I think that is the perfect striking distance, especially seeing that we have those 2 second-round picks this year to be able to move up to whether it be number 1, it could be number 2. I think as long as it's number 1 or 2, I think we might have a shot to move up there. If it's at 5, there's a shot that we can get Jaden Daniels, but I'm thinking that either Washington or the Patriots would take him. So I'm thinking we probably have to move up to number 1 or number 2 unless one of these other teams just find themselves up there. But I'm thinking it's going to have to be number 1 and number 2. So Giants are in a good spot to be able to go into this offseason to not have to give up too much to move up. They got to lose next week, and they got to lose to the Eagles again. And we just know there's always a surprise in the bag with the Giants. So we'll find that out. But it looks like Caleb Williams today, he put out a tweet. First off, he put out a tweet showing Eli Manning in the Super Bowl. And he put out another tweet where he liked it. He liked the tweet saying that that the Bears should be drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. So 2 tweets right there show that maybe he's not even wanting to play for the team that's picking number 1. So it could be an Eli Manning situation. And it could be a situation where the Giants trade up to get that guy, or they take him and then they trade him to the Giants. So that's all I have. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. We won't see each other before the New Year, or maybe that's New Year's Day. But either way, all your happy holidays to you. We got to keep this, sadly to say, as Giants fans right now, we got to keep this losing streak going so we can get out of this terrible, dismal state of being a Giants fan right now. So again, you guys have a great rest of your holiday. Hope it was a fun day. Hopefully you got everything you wanted. As far as a Giants fan, I think this is the perfect recipe to give us an entertaining, competitive game and still keep us in position to be able to get that top quarterback.